We touched on Anthony Joshua a moment ago, and I want to get into some of the latest around AJ because there's always something new with Anthony Joshua. There is now a new contender in the AJ sweepstakes, and his name is Andre Ward. The Hall of Fame former 168 and 175-pound champion has thrown his hat in the ring. Ward has not fought since 2017 when he knocked out Sergey Kovalev, and he has never fought heavier than light heavyweight. Out of nowhere, Sergio, he is calling out Anthony Joshua. What do you think of Andre Ward calling out AJ?
You know, Andre Ward has had a perfect career. A perfect career from the amateurs, winning a gold medal for the United States. A perfect, flawless career, going undefeated and unblemished as a 2-division world champion, as a professional. A perfect record post-boxing, making the Hall of Fame. What the hell is Andre SOG Ward doing, coming back, or even talking about fighting a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world? That right there is hubris. That's arrogance, and that's the perfect greatness of a fighter. I hate to say it, Mannix. I went from negative to positive because me and you can't put ourselves in greatness shoes, but every great fighter believes they can do that. Muhammad Ali came back. It wasn't good. Oscar De La Hoya came back. It wasn't good. Sugar Ray Leonard came back. It wasn't good. George Foreman came back. It was good for him, but he's a heavyweight, and he was one of the top 3 biggest punchers in boxing history. Andre Ward wasn't a puncher at 168 or 175. Now he wants to go up to heavyweight, where he's going to be outweighed by 50 plus pounds. He's going to be outsized. He's going to be shorter by like 6 inches. He's going to be the way smaller, man. This is just ridiculous. I hate to be negative of Andre Ward because he's perfection. You know, Andre Ward is what every fighter wants to be. Andre Ward, Ricardo Lopez, Floyd Mayweather Jr., you make money, you become great, you enter the Hall of Fame, and you exit undefeated. That's a perfect strategy and a perfect record. Andre Ward's going back on his word just because of that itch that he has. Every fighter gets that itch. Mind you, I get that itch. But you have to realize, man, it's not for me anymore. It's a young man's sport. You can get hurt, especially if you're moving up to fight a giant. It doesn't matter that Anthony Joshua is vulnerable. He can't take a chin. People question his heart. He just got knocked out in his last fight. Yeah, all these things are red flags, but he's still a much bigger championship level fighter. And Andre Ward has been retired 8 years, man. 8 years. I could say if it was 4 years or 3 years like it was with Sugar Ray Leonard, but 8 years, that's going to almost be like George Foreman when he came back and won the heavyweight championship. But George Foreman had stayed busy fights in between leading to that fight. So I think it's lunacy and ignorance on the part of the great Andre Ward, because he is great, all-time great. But for him to be entertaining this, I don't like that. I don't like that look on such a great fighter.
You know, my first reaction was, it was people in boxing must really think that AJ is washed. I mean, honestly, like you've got Jake Paul thinking he's got a chance against AJ. You've got Tony Yoka thinking he's got a chance against AJ. And now you have Andre Ward, 8 years removed from his last fight at light heavyweight, believing he's got a chance against AJ. It's worth noting, Sergio, that this is not new necessarily. Like there was talk about Andre Ward against AJ a few years ago. Like this was back when Andre Ward was more recently retired, and it was speculated on. Andre didn't really do much about it back then. This is the first time we're seeing him aggressively say, I will come out of retirement to fight Anthony Joshua. And you and I are in agreement. Andre Ward was one of my favorite fighters in the 2010s. He was actually my fighter of the decade when I had to write about one for Sports Illustrated.
I remember you asked for my opinion, and I said Andre Ward, yeah.
Yeah, I took a lot of heat for that because people thought, Floyd Mayweather, people thought Manny Pacquiao, but the wins that Andre Ward had in the 7 years he fought during that decade were incredibly impressive. They were high-level wins buttoned by the 2 wins over Sergey Kovalev. So I am a huge fan of Andre Ward, the boxer. In his era, I would have made him a favorite against anyone from 168 to 175. That being said, 8 years out of the ring means something. Going up to heavyweight means something. Fighting a puncher like Anthony Joshua means something. When we were having the conversation recently about AJ against Jake Paul, one of the things I said was like, hey man, like look at what AJ did to Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, who is a combat sports fighter, who went 10 rounds with Tyson Fury. Couldn't go 2 with Anthony Joshua. Now, Andre Ward is better than Francis Ngannou as a boxer, even at this stage of his life and career. But at his size, going up to that weight class, it is inevitable, Sergio, that he's going to eat a right hand. Even against Sergey Kovalev, he ate a right hand. He went down against Sergey Kovalev in their first fight. He's going to eat one of those punches, and that is not going to go well for Andre Ward. I'm with you. I wish that Andre, and I can't fault the guy for thinking he's still got it. You see him around town, he looks like he's in great shape. I'm sure if he came back at his weight class, he might be able to win a couple of fights if he wanted to. But going up to heavyweight and facing a guy who is still one of the biggest punchers in the heavyweight division, I can't rubber stamp that. I can't.
No, you can't rubber stamp it because he's not a puncher, Mannix. He's not a heavyweight. Heavyweights can get advantage. They have the luxury of having that power, the magic eraser. But when you don't have power, and especially you're fighting out of a weight class you're not familiar with, it's going to be more like Sugar Ray Leonard against Hector Camacho. It's not going to be Sugar Ray Leonard against Marvin Hagler, where he was out of 3 years out of the ring, and he came back and barely squeaked out a decision against Marvin Hagler. No, this is going to be a statement win by a bigger fighter and a heavyweight former champion in Anthony Joshua. I mean, a glancing shot can hurt you. A grazing shot can hurt you. And we've seen Ward get hit with glancing shots, and he didn't respond good against Kovalev. He didn't respond good against other fighters. If you go back to when he was a super middleweight, Darnell Boone. There you go. See, you know your stuff. Yeah, man, I've seen him react funny. But Andre Ward is an all-time great fighter, Hall of Fame fighter with a perfect and infallible career. What the hell is he doing trying to come back and ruin and blemish that and imbue his perfect record? I don't get it.
It's tough. It's tough to fully let it go. I would have thought by now Andre would be done with it. He's got a good business going with his podcast network. He was an excellent commentator for a lot of years with ESPN. But I mean, you can speak this better than I could, but I guess it just never leaves you, right? that desire to prove that you can still compete. It never.
Sugar Ray Leonard once told me when I asked him what's the greatest thing about being at the top of the game, the money, the fame. And he always said that itch, that itch to prove people wrong, coming out to the limelight, the roar of the crowd. When you retire from that, and you hear it all the time, it sounds cliche, you can't get those chills anywhere else. You can't replace it with drugs and gambling and womanizing. You can't replace that thrill, man. And Andre Ward's always been a level-headed guy. He's been one of these guys that didn't need all that adrenaline like a Mike Tyson did outside the ring, or a lot of these fighters needed that stimulation outside the ring. Andre Ward, just like George Foreman, is a spiritual man, a pastor outside the ring. He's one of these guys that you look up to outside and inside the ring. But just like George Foreman, that itch is there. It's not need, it's that itch to prove that you can still do something great. And that's what made him great over and over and over, all the way till he was a kid winning a Olympic gold medal for the United States. So, yeah, man, it's ignorance is bliss, but this kind of ignorance gets you hurt when you're a 40-year-old man.
All right,